Henry Ford, one of the most iconic figures in the automotive industry, was born on July 30th, 1863, in Greenfield Township, Michigan, USA. Raised on a farm, Ford's early life was marked by hard work and limited resources. Despite being born into a humble family of farmers, Henry's mind was always drawn toward machines rather than farming. His childhood curiosity led him to dismantle and reassemble watches and other mechanical devices to understand how they worked, showing early signs of his engineering talent. At the age of 16, Ford left his family farm to pursue his passion for mechanics. He moved to Detroit, where he started working as a machinist's apprentice. Over the next few years, Ford worked in several mechanical jobs, learning everything he could about engines and machines. His talent caught the eye of many, and eventually he landed a job at the Edison Illuminating Company, where he worked as an engineer. It was here that Ford had the chance to meet and be mentored by the legendary inventor Thomas Edison, who encouraged him to pursue his dream of creating automobiles. Ford's journey to founding the Ford Motor Company in 1903 was not without struggle. His early attempts to create a successful car were met with failure. He founded 2 car companies, both of which failed. His initial designs were either too expensive or unreliable, and investors began to lose faith. Despite these setbacks, Ford never gave up. He was determined to make cars affordable and accessible to the average American, not just the wealthy elite. The turning point came in 1908, when Ford introduced the Model T, the car that would change everything. Priced far lower than other vehicles of the time, the Model T was an instant hit. However, the demand was so high that Ford needed to find a way to produce the cars faster and cheaper. This led to one of his most important innovations, the assembly line. Before Ford's assembly line, building a car was a time-consuming and expensive process. Workers would assemble one car at a time, often spending hours on each vehicle. Ford revolutionized this by introducing the moving assembly line in 1913. Instead of workers moving around a car, the car would move on a conveyor belt, with each worker assigned to install one specific part. This dramatically reduced production time, allowing Ford to produce more cars at a lower cost. In fact, what once took over 12 hours to build now took only 90 minutes. The success of the Model T catapulted Ford Motor Company to the top of the automotive industry. By 1920, half of all cars on American roads were Fords. Ford's commitment to his workers was also notable. He introduced the $5 a day wage in 1914, doubling the average wage at the time, and reduced working hours, making him a pioneer in worker welfare. This was not just good for his employees, but also helped stabilize his workforce and create a strong middle class of consumers who could afford the very cars they were building. Despite his success, Ford faced challenges. As competition increased and the market evolved, Ford was slow to adapt. His insistence on sticking with the Model T for too long allowed competitors to overtake Ford in innovation and style. It wasn't until 1927, when the company replaced the Model T with the Model A, that Ford regained its competitive edge. Henry Ford's legacy goes beyond just cars. His innovations in mass production revolutionized industries around the world, making him one of the most influential industrialists of the 20th century. He transformed the way products were manufactured and helped shape modern industrial economies. However, his success came with controversies too. Some of his personal views, including anti-Semitic sentiments, marred his reputation later in life. In conclusion, Henry Ford's life was one of vision, perseverance, and innovation. From his humble beginnings as a curious farm boy, he rose to become the founder of Ford Motor Company, which is today valued at over $400 billion. His journey was marked by numerous failures, but his determination never wavered. Through his groundbreaking ideas like the assembly line, Ford not only made cars accessible to millions, but also set the stage for the industrial world we know today. Subscribe to Knowledge with AI for more videos like this.